Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to hop on here this morning and speak on this week's revelation. This week's revelation is compiled of different revelations of different things, of so much. But the theme, the gist is remember. And so for my first point, remembering that the love that drew me to God in the first place, before I even decided, before I even made the decision that I want to evolve, before I even made the decision that that was something that was necessary, remembering the love that drew me to God was very pivotal in my life. In that moment, on that day, I remember specifically being at the lowest of lowest, to where I felt like I couldn't fall any lower, to where I felt like I couldn't go any lower, beneath cement, beneath earth, beneath ground, just the lowest of lowest. And in that moment, He showed me that He loved me. In that moment, I couldn't express it the way I'm expressing it now, but there was a supernatural knowing. There was a knowing. My spirit for the first time was connected with Him. There was a knowing within me. As my pastor says, the sixth sense, the sixth sense was being activated. I don't want to say activated. In a way, it was not hearing, not seeing, not smelling, not touching. It was another sense. A sense of His presence, a sense of His love, a sense of Him that I had never experienced a day in my life. I've always been in church. I grew up in church, raised in church, all of that good stuff. But I had never, ever experienced what I experienced that day. That was an encounter. That's what people call an encounter. They like to call it an encounter. That was an encounter, an experience outside of what I've known, outside of what I've experienced with people, that drew me. It wasn't a something that I experienced that I never experienced that created fear. It actually created an environment, an atmosphere of faith. It created an atmosphere, an environment of love. It was like it was so orchestrated, because oh my God, the way that He thinks is so much higher than the way that we think. And He knows what it takes to get us where we need to be. He knows what it takes to draw us to Him when we're at a place when we're ready. When we're at a place when we're ready. Because the majority of my life, I don't even want to throw a percentage out there, but the majority of my life I've been running from Him. I didn't know I was running from Him until I looked back over my life. But a lot of the things that I was doing, my actions, my behavior, was running. I was running from the love of God. I was running from His presence because it was unfamiliar. It didn't seem right. It didn't feel right. When I sensed it, it's like, what is this? This is what I know. I don't know about that. What is that? And so that's my life experience And so with that being my life experience, in a moment, in that day, in that time, to where he made his presence known, he made his spirit known, he made his love known, it opened me up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It opened me up to receive more. It was almost like if you're what they like to call a sweethead, sugarhead, or whatever. You like sweets. If the first time you have a piece of candy, it activates that desire to always have it now. That's what that was for me. That's what that was for me. That experience, that encounter was, I want more. I don't know how to get back to that place. I don't know what I gotta do to get back to that place, but I want to get back in that place. I want to experience that again. I want another encounter again, because it's something that changed in me that I don't understand right now. It's something that shifted in me, my perspective. It's something that I cannot identify right now that I want to experience again. And so in that very moment was created now my love for him, because he showed his love for me in that moment. So that's my first point. Remembering the love that God has for me. And so for my second point, remembering all of the times where I fell short, where I didn't quite make it, whether that was intentionally or unintentionally. Falling short, missing the mark. Missing the mark. It really put a damper on how I saw myself. I saw myself in a negative light. I saw myself based on what what was cultivated in, based on what I was cultivated in, based on what I heard, based on the perceptions, on the way in which I was groomed to be wired through society, through school, through friends, through family, whatever. Everything that had an influence and an input in my life that told me, when you do this, if you don't do this, you fail. That is what my perspective, my mind was set towards. And so remembering in that moment, in those moments where I fell short, how he didn't get angry with me. He didn't get upset with me. He just loved me. And it brought me right back. It drew me right back. And for the times that it was intentional, that it was rebellion, outright rebellion, yes, he was angry, but it wasn't forever. He wasn't angry with me forever. It was, I don't like what you did there. That type of fathering. And then the correction came. The instruction came. And it wasn't until I grew just over and over doing this, going through this, failing, missing the mark, seeing his love, seeing him in the midst, doing it again, seeing him in the midst, doing it again, seeing him in the midst, doing it again, seeing him in the midst, over and over again. As I grew in my relationship with him, understanding that this ain't gonna change. He's not gonna change. He changes not. This love that you're experiencing, even though you fell short, even though you didn't do what he was telling you to do, even though you were in outright rebellion, he still loves you. He loves you. He cares for you. And he desires more of you. He desires more from you. It was just those little in between when I would come back, or when Holy Spirit would touch my heart, touch my heart, where Holy Spirit would touch my heart and open my mind and open my eyes to see, not with my natural eyes, but to hear, not with my natural ears, what he was saying to me in that moment. It wasn't until then that it finally clicked. Like, this is who he is. He is love. And he's going to continue to love you through all your failures, through all your mistakes, through the things that you can't change, through the things that you're trying to change. He's going to love you in this process. So get acclimated to it. Get used to it. And when I did, and I finally received that, and I finally embraced that, it created within me a love that I had never received myself from anybody but him. It created what I was praying for somebody else to do for me. I was praying for natural people to love me this way. They're incapable of it. Only God is capable of loving us unconditionally. No matter what we do, unconditionally. No matter how much we fall short, unconditionally. No matter how much we reject him, unconditionally. No matter how much we rebel against him, unconditionally, in disobedience. He loves us. He loved me. That's my experience. He loved me through all of it. Through all of it. And that's another thing that helped me to evolve throughout my life. Remembering that he loved me in my failures, in my failings, helped me to break a performance mentality. I felt like I had to do worship this way, and praise this way, and pray this way to earn his love, to earn his affection, to be righteous, to be in right standings with him. Could never earn it, could never, ever. Jesus paid that price. He made me righteous. He made me holy. It's through him. It's through Jesus that I have access even to the Father. It's through him. Nothing that I could ever do could earn it. Nothing that I could ever do could put me in that right standing. Nothing. Getting that revelation opened my perspective to evolve, to continue to evolve. And for my third point, remembering that it's him that created me. Remembering that he created me helped me to love me. Helped me to be able to get to a point and a space and a place to understand and to know that I'm created this way on purpose. I'm created this way intentionally. I'm created this way no matter what the world says, what people say, what friends say, what family say, what schools say, what society say, what work say, what nothing. Nobody create none of those things that I named created me. He's the only one that created me, so he's the only one that understands why I am the way I am. And understanding, remembering that he created me understanding that nobody else's input matters but his, it opened me up to love myself, to love me as I am. He loves me as I am. He loves me as I am. Every part of me that I consider to be a flaw, he gets glory out of. Every part. He uses it for his glory. I didn't even see it. I didn't even know it until I decided to have eyes to see, to have ears to hear. That is when it became clear. That is when it became clear. The way in which he allowed my brain to be wired, the way in which he allowed people, environments that I was cultivated in to shape and mold me. He gets the glory out of it. All of it. All of it. And even as I evolve, there are some things that he doesn't shake. He leaves it as it is. There are some things that he shakes and is gone. It dissipates. It disappears. It's no more. But for the things that he allows to stay, all of those things he's been getting glory out of. There's not one thing that I can think about in my mind that I consider to be a flaw based on the inputs that I've had over the span of my life that he has not gotten glory out of. Nothing. Nothing. And so for the gist of today's video, remembering has been a pivotal piece in my evolution, a pivotal piece in my development, a pivotal piece in my growth. And as I evolve, my love for him grows greater. As I evolve, it creates the ability to prosper. As I evolve, it builds up my faith. As I evolve, I'm learning mastery. It's a beautiful process when I look at it from a different perspective. Because the perspective that I was looking at it from was, when will this ever be over? When will I ever get it right? That wasn't the right perspective for me. For me, what has caused me to prosper in my mind, what has caused me to prosper in my soul, is embracing the beauty of this process. Remembering the love that drew me in the first place. Remembering the love that he has for me. Remembering it keeps me sober in my mind. It keeps me sober in my spirit. And it allows me to stay in a place of humility. I do not claim to know nothing outside of Jesus Christ. I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim it. I don't claim it. Everything that I have been learning has shown me that the things that I thought I knew, the things that I was standing firm on, it's a faulty foundation. Only what he says stands. Only what he says stands. His word stands, and it will stand forever, for eternity. Everything else it will pass away. It will pass away. And so that's the gist of today's video. May you remember, may you think back on the many times that his love has been expressed in ways that you cannot explain, in ways that you know is only and can only be him. May you remember the ways in which he has caused you to evolve. May you remember your first love. And so, yep, that's the gist of today's video. Have a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, wonderful day. And be beautiful.